Well, greetings all you lovers of shiny rocks out there. In this video, I'm going to show you how I polish pieces of Mexican Crazy Lace in a vibratory tumbler. Of course, the first thing you need is some Mexican Crazy Lace. What you see here are pieces that I purchased from the rock shed. I have already taken the time to put these through a rotary tumbler, the 6090 course stage. Stage 1, as most people refer to it. In some cases, these were tumbling for months. But they got to the point where they're nice and smooth. Any little flaws you see are going to be, well, for example, these little pits that I wasn't going to try to remove, and maybe a little crystal vug. Some of these will have some crystal vugs, but I was going to leave those in. Otherwise, these rocks are all very smooth. So you need to get your rocks into this condition first. So get them in a rotary tumbler, get them going as long as necessary to get them smooth like this. And then I will show you how I get these nice and shiny using a vibratory tumbler. Once you get your Crazy Lace smooth the way you like it, the next thing you want to do is load it into the bowl of the vibratory tumbler. In this case, I'm going to use the Raytech. This is a 10-pound bowl. I have already got the ceramic media in there and it's already damp. So I'm going to add all the little pieces. Get it to about this height. Next I'm going to get this on the vibratory tumbler itself, get it going, and add some grit. For the first stage of the polishing cycle, I use 220 grit silicon carbide. For this size barrel, I use about 1.5 tablespoons. It's important to keep the media moist, so I spray it periodically, and I let this run for 2 days. Once I'm happy with the moisture level and the motion of the rocks, I have to put the lid back on. I like watching this do the vibratory dance, the washers and the lid. Thankfully, once I get the wing nut put on and tightened up, everything locks down. This is what it looks like after 2 days in the 220 grit. Now it's time to do a clean out and go to the next grit. Once I've cleaned out the bowl, washed off all of the rocks and the media, I get it going again, this time with 1 tablespoon of the 600 grit silicon carbide. I really like the way that the action changes as I add more of the grit. I also add a little bit of the borax. This is about 1 tablespoon. That helps develop the slurry. I let this go for 2 days, and I periodically add a little water to keep it nice and moist. After 2 days of the 600 grit, I repeat that entire process, this time with 1500 grit silicon carbide. And just like before, I add a little bit of the borax. Once I get the consistency the way I want it with the water, I let this go for 2 days. 2 more days have passed. I cleaned out the bowl, and now I'm adding the aluminum oxide polish. This is the final stage. And again, I add a little bit of the borax just to help with the slurry. I'll let this go for 2 days and we will be finished. The Crazy Lace is done in the vibratory tumbler. I finished my 8-day 4-step process. How do you think they turned out? Let's see. Not too bad. Let's take a closer look at some of my favorites here. Here's one with lots of color in it. I like the way this one turned out. It has that little crystal vug right there. That's kind of cool. Check out this beauty. Nice shine. Cool pattern. I really love this Mexican Crazy Lace. Here's one that I pointed out before starting the polishing, and the one with these little pockets. I think this one turned out very nice as well. Again, I love the pattern in this and the color. Some of these are just basically gray. This has a lot of red in it. Speaking of gray, check this beauty out. Isn't nature amazing? Look at the design in this thing. I could stare at this for hours. Back to one with a little more color. There's that crystal vug. Like I said before, I wasn't going to try to tumble that out. The rock would have been tiny at that point. Besides, I think that looks really cool like that. A couple little flaws. They're not perfect, but still beautiful. This little one has great banding in it. Look at the busy pattern in this one. Some interesting color as well. Here's another one that's mostly gray, but still very beautiful. Check out this one, lots of color in this one. This one has sort of a sagonitic look to it. Those little sprays you see in there. This little guy is really interesting because it has this metallic property right there. Look at that. How cool is that? This one has it all. I like how this one has that little pocket of banding right there. Yeah, there's more over here as well. Lots of cool banding on this one. Check that out. I really like this one. This one's kind of cool, but as you can see, it had some areas that undercut. That white material was a little bit softer. The rest of it still looks amazing. Look at that, up along there. This one's kind of interesting. I suppose they all are. I need to come up with some better adjectives, don't I? Yeah, look at that little vug in there. Now this one is resplendent. That's probably not even a good word to use. It's got the vugs. It's got some color. Very nice. This one is gorgeous. There's a good word. Great banding. Check this one out. This one also had some weird sort of undercutting in it. It still turned out pretty nice. I really like the color in this one. The inner banding is sort of a almost pinkish color, I suppose. I think that looks great. Here's another colorful Mexican Crazy Lace. This one's small but has some great banding in it. Even though this one undercut a little bit, I still really like it. It's different looking. That white stuff just doesn't hold up very well, but the rest of it I think looks terrific. This one didn't hold up too well. You can see it's got lots of little fractures in it. Oh well. They can't all be perfect. I think this one's really interesting. Again, that sagonitic effect with those sprays. Very cool. Look at that. Looks like a meadow with flowers. This has a nice intricate pattern in it. It does have a little fracture right there, which I don't like. What are you gonna do? You can see the whole rock would want to break along that. You can imagine that fracture continuing through right there. That whole side would just break right off. Oh well. This one's just about perfect. It has a couple of tiny little divots in it, but otherwise it's an excellent tumble and an excellent shine. Here's the last one. Nice and small with plenty of detail, very shiny and smooth. Well, there you have it. That's how I shine my Mexican Crazy Lace, starting with the many weeks in the coarse grit to get them smooth, and then 8 days in the Vibratory Tumbler. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching.